Hi, this is Matt at State of Flux here with a long-delayed review for another one of the Godzilla movies. This is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. This one was kind of neat in that it was, this is the first Godzilla movie since I've been reviewing them that I had never seen before. So I was kind of excited to watch it. And what I was surprised most about this film is that it is a weird kind of origin story for Godzilla, Ghidorah, and weirdly Steven Spielberg. But we'll touch on that in a little bit. This movie I thought was going to go alien-y, but it kind of walked back the alien nature of Ghidorah's origins. And instead had people from the future. So we had still had spaceships, but it was a time-traveling spaceship situation, a la Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Or at least that's how it's made to seem. It's these goodwill people from the future who are coming back to try and remove Godzilla from the equation, because Godzilla is what calls Ghidorah to this fight, and if you take Godzilla out of the equation, then their world 300 years in the future won't be destroyed with the radiation and pollution that Godzilla brings with him. So they work with the U.S. government the Japanese government to select 3 individuals to go into this future, into the past, distant past, before Godzilla became Godzilla, before the nuclear blast changed him and irradiated him in such a way that he became the Godzilla that we know, to when he was just a dinosaur on the beaches in World War II, a protector of the Japanese people over the advancing U.S. Army. And it's one of these U.S. Army members that you discover is Steven Spielberg's father. And the joke that's there ages insanely well, because at the time of this release, the joke is that this man sees a flying saucer and the, his captain is like, "Don't worry about it, Spielberg, just save those stories for your kid." But the fact that within 2 years of this film's release, Steven Spielberg would not only have made 2 alien films with Close Encounters and E.T., but then make Jurassic Park, as well as a sequel to Jurassic Park, and then just 5 years removed from this, 2 years removed from this also he made Schindler's List, and then 5 years removed from this made Saving Private Ryan, and has made since many more war movies, war-based movies, or produced them, as well as dinosaur movies and alien movies. So that joke really lands. It's corny, it's a groaner, but it ages well. Anyway, so we get to see Godzilla, what he looked like when he was just a mere T-Rex. He has far too many fingers for a T-Rex, but they call him a T-Rex nonetheless, at least in the version of the film that I have seen. I've only seen the American dub version. I didn't have access to the subtitled version, so that's what I was working with. And the Godzilla, you can see how that thing would turn into Godzilla, but still very much looks like a dinosaur, and it's not a bad looking dinosaur pre-Jurassic Park. I think it would have looked very, very realistic at the time. Then when these future people have these things called Dorats, I guess, which are these cute little winged cat bat things, this guy right here, and they leave 3 of them behind when they remove Godzilla from the equation. So that they go back from the 40s to their present day in the 90s, and that is when Ghidorah rises. And this is how Ghidorah becomes Ghidorah in this story. You have to remember, the whole timeline got wiped clean, Halloween style, with Godzilla, or The Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla in 1985. So Ghidorah has never existed before. Now we have Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. And this is the biggest complaint I have about the Ghidorah stuff. Specifically with the T-Rex version of Godzilla, and then Godzilla himself, the suit that they have is the best looking Godzilla has ever looked. The suit looks great, and I thought it looked incredible with Godzilla vs. Biollante. It looks even better here. And so imagine my disappointment when I see Ghidorah and it looks exactly the same as the Ghidorah from the old movies. Almost as if they just unearthed the one that they used in the 60s and then just made sure that it's spray painted stayed gold, and it just looks flimsy next to this big hulking Godzilla in this film. When Godzilla later rises in the film's climax, he is bigger and badder and far more chestularly muscular than he ever had been in the past, and looks like just an incredibly viable threat. And to believe that Ghidorah stands a chance when it just looks so weak and flimsy and rubbery, that stuff didn't. The Ghidorah of it all didn't really play out too well until they refurbished Ghidorah into Mecha King Ghidorah, and that was pretty BA. Weirdly enough, this movie has. It's about an hour before Godzilla or Ghidorah really make their debut in this film. It's very plot heavy with the whole aliens from the future thing, but I liked it. Or the people from the future. I keep saying aliens, but they're just people. I liked it. It worked for me. I was invested, but there's just so little monster action that when you finally do get it, and that's what you've kind of come to one of these movies for, it feels almost disappointing. And that is to say, up until the final battle between Mecha King Ghidorah, which is being powered Power Ranger style, with a woman in the chest piece, battling Godzilla that has no reverence for man anymore. So these two start battling head to head. The monster battle there kind of buoys the rest of the film. This is nowhere near as good as Godzilla vs. Biollante. I was shocked to find out it was directed by the same man who did that one. But by and large, it's a movie that I liked. I give it 3 stars. It is not as good as the 2 previous ones, but is much better than most of the Showa-era Godzilla movies, in all honesty. I think they worked well with developing the characters so that you care about everybody in this film, which is a plus. So, I give this movie 3 stars. The next one that we're going to be discussing is Godzilla and Mothra, The Battle for Earth, I believe it's called. This is yet another one that I've never seen, and after seeing how they kind of reimagined and tweaked Ghidorah in this film, I'm really curious to see what they do for Mothra, because Mothra was always my favorite of the Godzilla allies in the old Showa-era films. So I'm really excited to see that. So excited, in fact, I bought blind a Blu-ray pack of the 3 Rebirth of Godzilla, or Rebirth of Mothra movies, which I've never seen and heard nothing about. Don't even know plots or anything. So if you're interested, I can also review those too. And I might do it in between each of the movies after I watch, I think, Godzilla vs. Destroya. The first one came out after Godzilla vs. Destroya, so I might watch the 3 Rebirth movies before I tackle the American Godzilla. But we'll see. Or maybe in between I'll do a Godzilla and a Mothra one. We'll check that out. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let me know what you thought of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Do you prefer this origin story for Ghidorah? Did we need an origin story at all? And does the origin story presented for Godzilla work for you? It did for me. I thought it was interesting. It was not something that I ever knew I needed to see, but I'm kind of glad I did. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Peace.